Welcome to Week and Geek, your new comics preview for May 28th. I'm Mike Ortiz.
And I'm the Chris Brown.
What do you got?
Well, it's a big stack this week.
Yeah,
a lot of books here. I'm going to lead off here with Disney Kingdom, Seekers of the Weird. It's a book I'm really liking. So it's a fun one. It's an all ages book, but it has a real fun adventure kind of feel. The artwork, I think, is pretty awesome. It's colorful. It's cool. Basically this family are the keepers of these strange artifacts. You know, very much like a Warehouse 13 or Friday the 13th, the series, but a little bit more in a Disney mystical kind of big broad stroke kind of feel to it. And these kids have gotten drawn in. They're trying to save their parents, and they're trying to basically keep this evil entity from getting loose, which it kind of did in the last issue. So now we're going to see where it goes. It's just kind of cool, spooky stuff that's not too spooky. It's, again, kind of an all-ages book, so it's got that fun kind of old-time, scary movie vibe. Next, I'm excited. I'm going to read a Spider-Man book.
Yeah. Wow.
It's, we've got, I think, Tim Seeley's doing something on here? I see Seeley's name on here. We got a Dr. Octopus story with art by Tim Seeley. So that should be pretty cool. We got, it looks like it's 4 little short stories. We got a little Spider-Man story and then 3 little tales with villains. We got a Dr. Octopus, a Sandman, and a Vulture.
Cool.
Story. So that should be kind of neat. Just some fun little Spider-Man stories. I saw Amazing Spider-Man 2 over the weekend. I rather enjoyed it. The story sort of plods along and rushes itself a little bit. There's a lot going on and kind of stuff together, but it's also really long. But the Spider-Man moments are amazing.
Yeah.
Every bit about Spider-Man is absolutely Spider-Man, and the thing that we all knew was going to happen. That Amazing Spider-Man 121 moment was just as tragic. And heart wrenching, and oh my goodness, it was tough to watch.
Yeah, I mean it's a messy movie. It's kind of all over the place, but all the Spider-Man emotional beats are dead on, and I teared up at the ending.
Oh, sure.
So, that means it worked. I don't care if there's plot holes. If
Agreed.
If it gets me here,
I enjoyed watching it, and there were some people that made fun of the little Rhino moment.
Yeah.
With they got a little kind of fun moment in there. I think people either have never read the comics or forget how they go.
Yeah.
Because there are things like that that's comic books.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. I mean, I thought it was a real fun movie. I really enjoyed it. It is a mess, but it didn't matter.
And I did 2 times I saw it.
Okay.
Both times I saw it in a theater full of kids, and that really does help a lot.
Oh, sure.
Man, did they love that movie.
I had Salvador with me, so he was real excited about it, and that's one thing. You know what? If you're going to be a cranky cuss, just take a kid.
Yeah.
Take a kid or go on a matinee when you're going to be surrounded by kids, and try not to be a cranky cuss around someone else's kids.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's if it's rare that things make me feel like a kid, because I am a cranky old man, but the Spider-Man movies somehow always seem to do it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was absolutely fantastic. Really fun. I enjoyed it. Made me want some good old classic Spider-Man. So. Next, I've got All New Invaders. This is written by James Robinson with art by, was that Steve Pugh? Cool stuff. This has been a cool book. I like how they've I'm an issue behind, but it looks like we're still kind of dealing with, the Kree trying to get this weapon that they had during World War II that could control gods. They no longer worked on the Asgardians, but they brought in a whole new set of gods. It looked like they had the Eternals. Were causing some mischief. So, cool stuff. I like how basically James Robinson gets to kind of play with the old-timey stuff that he likes, but it's set modern and reflecting back on that old-timey stuff, and really cool. Next up, we've got issue number 8 of Samurai Jack. Looks like maybe Andy just took a break. I think that last issue was not Andy Siriano, but he's back. Andy's back on the book. It's a guy. It looks like not much dialogue either. Is this kind of a silent issue? Looks like the Snake Eyes silent issue up in here. Yeah, lots of sound effects, but no dialogue.
Wow.
I got to see Andy over the last weekend, not the holiday weekend, but the weekend before. He was at Motor City Con. He and I went to high school together, so it's great to see him doing some really really cool stuff and still working on Samurai Jack. He had some other things that he was working on that he had at the show with him. Just some cool stuff, and I always like supporting him. And he did work on the show. When the show was on, he did character designs. So, only right that he should do the book. That totally works. Next, I've got Dr. Spectre, Master of the Occult. This is from Dynamite's Gold Key line. This is a character that never figured its way into the Valiant universe.
Interesting.
So this is kind of interesting that they're reviving him with their little Gold Key universe. Who knows if they're going to do anything new and invent other things and craft them in there. But I don't know much about Dr. Spectre, to be honest. When I got into the Valiant stuff and I was snapping up all the old Gold Key Turoks and Turoks and Magnus and Solars, Dr. Spectre always popped up, and it was always intriguing to me, but I just never grabbed him. So I'm curious to see how they're going to play this out, because I don't know a whole lot about Dr. Spectre, but I do enjoy that era, the Gold Key stuff. Next, we've got an image number 1 here. This is by Warren Ellis with art by Jason Howard, called Trees. This is, I'll be honest, I have no idea what the hell's going on. Some kind of threat, invasion, something kind of takes over the Earth 10 years ago, like a kind of, apocalyptic kind of thing, and just plants itself in the ground, and they refer to them as trees. It's decimated the areas around it. They're introducing us to a lot of concepts and a lot of characters and a lot of areas of the Earth very quickly. Jason Howard's art has never looked better.
Wow.
I think it looks freaking fantastic. Really, really cool artwork. I have no idea what's going on in that book. I did get to read that one. I'll read another one. It was very strange.
All right.
I'll check it out. Next, we've got, this is Boom. I've been reading a lot of that Boom stuff.
Yeah.
We've got Clive Barker's Nightbreed. Obviously, the first thing that makes me grab the Clive Barker's Nightbreed is it's got a Riley Rossmo cover.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, oh, what's that? So I grabbed that. But then I look inside. You got, art by Peter Kowalski, who I'm not familiar with, but it looks great. Has some really neat stuff. The original Nightbreed movie, I like it. But Clive Barker's got a very 80s soap opera-esque sort of approach to things. Very and that's kind of how, Hellraiser feels that way, the first one. Nightbreed totally feels that way. It's all very romantic and dramatic. And but I'm curious. We got monsters, and I do like Clive Barker's writing. He's an interesting dude. Met him years ago at San Diego Comic-Con.
Oh, wow.
That was a very interesting panel. He said some really inappropriate things, as you would expect from Clive Barker. So when people got up and left the room, and now mind you, he was selling a kid's toy at the time. Like, he's working on some plush kid's toy line. He says something really inappropriate. These 4 or 5 people get up and leave the room, and he says, well, there go the Christians. Bye. Like, oh, all right. How did you not know it was going to get weird in a room with Clive Barker, I guess? Yeah. Next, I'm back to image titles here. Looks like I'm going to be jumping around. Back to some image here. We got Sheltered. This is Sheltered number 9. This is the pre-apocalyptic tale by Eddie Brisson with art by Johnny Christmas. There's a bunch of families are kind of trying to prepare for the apocalypse, and they're building like a survivor camp kind of deal. They've got like food and all this stuff. Well, some of the older kids decide that there wouldn't be enough for everyone to survive, and the eldest kid seems to have some kind of plan and kills all the adults, gets some of the kids on their side. And now there's kind of this, kind of divide where some of them are like, I know what's going on. Some are following. They don't understand that this kid has killed their parents. He's made them believe something else has happened. And now you're starting to see other people sort of get into their, little community. You had someone who was just bringing solar panels that kind of got caught up in all their nonsense. And just, it's a really interesting story. And I'm kind of digging it. It's some interesting character development about a bunch of kids kind of left to their own devices, which is an awful thing. I mean, not the story itself, but kids left to their own devices. Next, we've got The Midas Flesh. This is 6 of 8. This is the tale, the outer space tale in which, our band of adventurers have found King Midas. They've gone back to Earth. Earth has been turned into a big chunk of gold. The Outer Federation won't let anyone go near it. They managed to retrieve, I think it's a finger or a thumb, and they know that can be some kind of a super weapon. I unfortunately have fallen a little bit behind on this. I like our band of adventurers. They're silly, but it still kind of takes itself a bit serious as well. The artwork sort of lends to kind of a fun vibe, but it's a pretty good science fiction story. Again, Boom. This is their Boom box. I think they're more like all ages kind of stuff, but good stuff. I like it. Next, we've got Harbinger number 23. I don't know if this is the death of, but they're promoting the death of a character very soon. I don't know if it happens in this. Harbinger has been good. I'm kind of wondering if they're just going to kill the character that also died in the original Harbinger series, kind of earlier on. It's kind of interesting that, you've got everybody on the cover except that guy, and the alternate cover has that guy. Okay. So are they trying to make you believe it's that guy? I don't know. But Harbinger's a good book. They're doing a good job over there, Valiant. I dig it.
Very cool.
The Fuse. This is our space station kind of story. It kind of has almost like a Total Recall kind of vibe, but also Alien Nation at the same time. There's a couple different cops that are kind of working together, and the one cop that everybody thinks is really crazy is the one that volunteered to work there. Nobody's got really anything to lose. You're stuck out in space on this bizarre station. I think it has something to do with, I think it was Mars, if I'm not mistaken. I'm an issue behind at this point, as I do from time to time. But I like it. I think the artwork is really, really cool. It's got it mixes up a bunch of things that I already like. Why wouldn't I like that?
Yeah.
Dead Body Road. I'm so far behind on this, other than I like Justin Jordan's writing quite a bit. Matteo Scalera does some great jobs. Great job with pencils here. I think the artwork is really cool. I need to catch up on it. This is one of those things that I've fallen several months behind on, and I'm still got it in my stack because I did really like that first issue, and want to kind of keep going with that. I thought that was cool. Next, Cowl issue number 1. This is written by Kyle Higgins. I don't remember what else Kyle Higgins has done. Was he doing Red Lanterns, or he was doing something at DC?
He did. He was doing Nightwing for a while.
He was doing Nightwing. Okay.
And he did that Gates of Gotham series with Scott Snyder. A few other things. This
has got one of those like old timey approaches to superheroes. It was a Chicago Organized Workers League.
Yeah.
So it's kind of men of adventure. Dudes in bowler hats and kind of costumes that don't look spandex, but more. It looks neat. I have no idea what the premise is, but it looks kind of the cover kind of had me. I like that sort of approach to things.
This ties into or spins out of I remember an interview with Kyle Higgins. He did a short film that is available on iTunes. I can't remember the name, but it's a superhero sort of somewhat realistic film noir set in the past superhero thing. And I think this ties in with that. And that is kind of the idea that it's just, another kind of postmodern superhero take where they look at superheroes in the past and some sort of a superhero union.
Okay.
Or thing like that.
Yeah, it says workers.
I bought the short film and never got around to watching it. It was like $2 on iTunes, like 30 minutes.
But this guy's like Vincent Price. So like Vincent Price, if he was playing Sinestro.
Really nice artwork.
And then Vincent Price should have played Sinestro.
Oh, that would have been maybe in the day.
Yes. Yeah. Well, right. They just didn't get to Green Lantern soon enough.
Right.
So what do you got?
I'm going to start off here with the Star Wars number 8. I'm a couple issues behind, and as it turns out, this is the final issue.
Oh, it is?
So I'm going to be able to read all of them at once. This is, as I've mentioned before, this is the comic book adaptation of George Lucas's original 1975 draft of the script. Things are very different. There's a Darth Vader, but he's not a Jedi. There's a Dark Jedi, but he's not Darth Vader. There's an Anakin Skywalker, and he's not a whiny punk. There's a Han Solo, and he's green. And yeah, so it's a lot of familiar faces. R2-D2 and C-3PO are in here. There's Princess Leia is in here, but it's clearly a very different take. It's almost like an Ultimate Universe sort of thing.
Okay.
Where it's just a different. This is the Star Wars that could have been. Gorgeous artwork by Mike Mayhew. No relation to Peter, as far as I know. They're working on episode 7.
Yeah.
So while you're waiting for that, you can go back and see what episode 4 could have been like back when it would have actually been episode 1.
Right.
This has been some good stuff. Very strange, unusual stuff. You can see why some of the stuff didn't quite pan out. and it's a little clunky as a first draft script usually is, but really, really neat kind of artifact of a world that could have been. Next up, we've got New 52 Futures End. This one still hasn't quite clicked with me yet.
That Frankenstein cover is amazing, though.
It is a nice cover, and they've introduced Frankenstein into it. They're introducing Red Robin, but it's still a little all over the place.
Okay.
And I'm not sure that I'm clicking with all of the stories. The Firestorm stuff really isn't working. The Grifter stuff, I don't really care about that much. There's some nice moments. I like the Batman Beyond stuff, but this is really the make or break issue for a weekly book for me. Next up, Batman Eternal #8. Another weekly book, but this one I really dig a lot.
Cool.
And let me tell you, when a book can convince me it's going one way and then kind of go another way, I'm usually impressed. This is the Batman Weekly. It's featuring the entire Batman universe and then some.
Okay.
In the last issue, we get Batwing and the Spectre, or at least Jim Corrigan, and they hint that he actually could be the Spectre, because there's a supernatural element to all of this that was not apparent. There's a gang war going on, being fueled by the return of was it Carmine Falcone? Was that his name? I can't remember his name. Who's installed a new police commissioner who's letting them all fight it out. We figured it was just sort of a gang war thing where they were setting this up so the gangs all kill each other so someone can step in. But it turns out that the reason that they're creating this gang war is so lots of blood can be shed and all of that death can be used to fuel some sort of weird supernatural mystical thing.
Interesting.
So I didn't see that coming. And
right.
so yeah, instead of being like the police procedural that I thought, this book's now veering into weird supernatural stuff. And it's kind of cool. I mean, I like it when I don't see what's coming. And it's been very well written. It's Scott Snyder and James Tynion with a bunch of other guys kind of filling in on actual scripting duties. Tim Seeley's one of the guys. This one, John Layman is doing the script on this one.
Cool.
But you got Ray Fox, Tim Seeley, Scott Snyder. This has got Gulem March, who's a great artist. He did Catwoman and some other stuff. But I really would not have expected. A lot of weekly books don't click with me. And I'm not always a big Batman fan, but this one's really working. Next up, another Batman. This is 0 Year, the final act. So we're coming to the end of the 0 Year. The Riddler is basically taking over Gotham.
Okay.
And now Batman and Gordon and some of the cops, they're going to take it back.
I love Capullo's Riddler.
Yeah.
It looks just fantastic.
Yeah, great stuff. The artwork is fantastic. Scott Snyder, has been doing a great job on Batman for years. But this artwork is phenomenal. I love this Year Zero costume. I actually like it more than the current costume. It's a little bit simpler, a little bit cruder, and a little bit more kind of classic Batman-y with purple gloves, like the old days. Plus, despite being a Batman book, there's really a lot of color in here.
Yes.
They're playing off the greens and the purples of the Riddler, which is a nice contrast for Batman's black and gray.
Yeah.
So this has been a solid book. I admit 0 Year I think has gone on too long. It's coming to an end. They said that the next issue is the penultimate chapter. So we got two more issues.
0 Year. They told you this was going to take freaking forever.
But hasn't it been more than
they could have called it Forever Year.
But it's been more than 12 issues, though, hasn't it?
I don't know. We can tell.
Yeah, who knows? But in any event,
did it start around 18?
Then this is 31, I guess. Plus, there was that issue that wasn't a 0 Year. But in any event, it's still been pretty solid, even though it's I actually kind of like this Batman Eternal a little bit more. Next up, we got The Flash number 31. This is continuing the Robert Venditti, who is taking over the book. Robert Venditti and Van Jensen, who both were kind of part of the Green Lantern books. I think they do Green Lantern Corps. So I picked this up because I thought they've done a fantastic job on Green Lantern. So I wanted to give Flash a try again. I've always wanted to like Flash books, but I haven't really liked it since Jeff Johns left the first time with Wally West. This has been all right. So far, it still hasn't quite clicked. This has got the new Wally West. I am not bothered so much by the fact that the new Wally West is black.
Oh, yeah.
But the fact that he's hoodie-wearing kind of troubled youth is just a bit on the cliche side. And I'm sure he's going to become they've already revealed he's going to be, Kid Flash in the future Zen sort of thing. So yeah, we're going to have that sort of classic story. He's a troubled youth, and the Flash is going to get him out of that troubled youth and turn him into a hero, but still bordering on a little bit of cliche. What is interesting is there is a Flash from the future. It's Barry dressed in this weird electric blue costume, who's coming back in time to prevent Wally from being killed, and some other things. So yeah, DC's doing a lot of funky stuff with their time travel. I guess
they might break their timeline, and Angela shows up, and
that would be hilarious.
What then? What then?
Well, the other thing, the rumors that both Marvel and DC are heading towards some sort of a upcoming Crisis reboot. What if they just swap? That'd be awesome. Never going to happen, but we can dream. Next up, we've got Red Lanterns number 31. This is a great book. We've got Supergirl as part of the team now. The Atrocitus is kind of Atrocitus and Dexstar versus Guy Gardner and his Red Lanterns. Guy's trying to make the Red Lanterns a little bit better, make them more into kind of like a red version of the Green Lanterns. They have Sector 2814, so they're in charge of Earth. They're going to find recruits because they know Atrocitus is going to try and take back the Red Lanterns. There's this really powerful Red Lantern called the Judge that both of them want to kind of get on their team. And really just some great stuff. I mean, it's gone from being... it's really... There's almost like a political battle infighting between the Lanterns. Charles Soule has really completely turned this book around.
It's a fantastic writer.
And Guy Gardner, I've never liked him more. He's better as a Red Lantern. I hope this isn't a temporary thing. I hope they leave this until, whatever next writer comes on. Kara, I'm sure she's not going to be on the team for too long.
Right.
But still just kind of a neat idea. And just really, really kind of changed the book, changed the characters, and made it... Red Lanterns was always a book that made you kind of go, how is this really going to sustain for a long period of time? And I think the way they were going, it really couldn't. But this is kind of a direction I think that could make this book last for a while.
Cool.
Speaking of Lantern books that last for a while, this is this the last issue? Did they even not make it to 1 year here? I don't know. Oh, no. Okay, yeah, this is the... next up, The End of Everything. No kidding. It's our last issue.
How long do they last? They get a year
11 issues. Almost a year. But yeah, this is Lar Flees versus Nort.
Perfect.
That's pretty much all I need. I'm going to miss this book. It's been a fun book. It's been the humorous book.
Is there a version of Groot going on there? What is that all about?
Oh, that's those weird kind of almost... And it's almost like the Endless versus yeah. But this book has really just been a lot of fun. There's some steampunk stuff going on. If you're a fan of the old Justice League, the Bwahaha Justice League, these are the guys that made that work. A lot of people didn't like this book. They didn't like the tone. They didn't like the humor. Whatever. I got a kick out of it, and it's got Nort.
Right.
How do you not get Nort?
I had a couple guys that really liked that book.
Yeah. Next up, Guardians of the Galaxy number 15. Looks like Captain Marvel's joining. I wonder if that's a hint as to what's coming down the pike in the Marvel Phase 3.
Maybe.
Captain Marvel has been rumored to be one of the characters in development, and putting her in the Guardians of the Galaxy seems a perfect way to kind of up her status in the regular Marvel universe, get her introduced into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. However, they have Venom in the Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't think he's going to pop up in a Guardians movie anytime soon. But this has been a great book. I mean, it's Brian Michael Bendis. Obviously, this was launched to tie into the upcoming movie, which I'm still excited for. I'm worried it might be the flop. Every summer's got a couple of flops. So far, the only one has been Transcendence.
Okay,
and that was that Johnny Depp puts his brain in the computer movie.
Oh.
So Godzilla seems to be doing well. Captain America, X-Men, all these have been pretty solid.
Dude, Tom Cruise has a stupid movie coming out.
Oh, yeah, but see, that doesn't count because his movies always flop. There's always one that like the geeks dig.
Okay.
That flops, like Pacific Rim or Scott Pilgrim or something like that. So I'm hoping it's not Guardians. And I'm hoping it's not Planet of the Apes. I just want those two to be good.
Yes.
Everything else can suck. I don't care. Maybe Maleficent, whatever that is.
Maleficent?
Yeah. Let that one bomb. But in any event, I don't actually remember where this left off. I know
I'm behind on that book.
It's I actually am caught up, but there's a couple of different stories going on as I recall. It looks like someone's doing an experiment on Rocket. That's not going to end well. But yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy, and just I don't really care. This book could be kind of crappy. I'd still be getting it because I'm excited for the movie. Next up,
I just watched, I think, the Mighty Avengers episode, or Avengers Assemble,
yeah,
that had them in it.
oh cool,
It was pretty fun. Except Groot was like a stick that Rocket Raccoon held, and then he would get big.
oh, that's weird.
It was weird.
Yeah, I don't know if I like that, but I don't care.
Yeah, it was a cartoon. What are you gonna do?
Next up, this is Avengers number 30. This is an original Sin tie-in. Captain America remembers that they messed with his mind. Not happy about it. So there's kind of a fight with him and Tony and Iron Man. And yeah, this is the fallout of that setup that we got a while back. And I'm kind of curious to see how... some unusual characters in here. Is that characters from the future? So yeah, this looks like there's some time bending going on here. I don't know how that's going to fit in.
They're supposed to stop doing that. They've already broken the time stream.
Oh, we got a Lady Thor too. Maybe it's alternate dimensions. I don't know. But in any event, this is Jonathan Hickman. He's been doing a great job on this book, and this, like we said, this is both tying into that big story that he's telling in New Avengers, as well as finally dealing with the repercussions of wiping Captain America's mind. That's not a good thing to do.
No, I don't advise it.
They should have learned from when the Justice League did that to Batman, that it always comes back to haunt you. Next up, we've got Chew Revival crossover number 1. Now, I dropped off of Revival, so I don't really know what's going on there.
I've fallen behind. I do intend. I have every intention of catching up because I really, really like that book. But...
Oh, it's a flip book.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, we've got, looks like Tim Seeley, Mike Norton doing one half of the book, and then we got John Layman and Rob Guillory doing the other half. Now, Revival is not a comedy.
No.
And Chew is. And Revival deals with people coming back from the dead. Right. And Chew deals with a guy who eats things, like people coming back. And there's like a dead guy on the cover.
A fun crossover, though.
This is weird. And, maybe this will get me reading Revival again. I don't know. We'll see how that works out. But in any event, what a weird idea. A lot of fun. And if this is half as good as Chew, then I'm totally in. Next up, Fantastic Four number 5. I'm surprised. I love this book. I was worried about James Robinson, and this is
awesome.
Starman James Robinson.
Yes,
it's has a hint of throwback, but it's also very, very modern, and really he just totally gets the family dynamic, really in a way that Matt Fraction did the family dynamic pretty well, but he kind of dropped the ball on the story in the long run. Hickman's stuff, even though I love that, Hickman's stuff is never really very emotional. It's all very brainy. This has got all the emotionality of the Fantastic Four. I mean, he's really kind of reached into what made the heart of this family. Plus, he acknowledges the continuity. Everything sort of fits together. We've got a bunch of different art styles here. This is, one of the many dark days for the FF. The Torch has lost his powers.
Right.
The government is coming after the Fantastic Four because they've got a negative zone portal, and as if they haven't had a negative zone portal since 1965. But all of a sudden, actually, I think they already did something about that, where they were like, "Hey, you guys have a lot of dangerous technology in there," and then the end Reed eventually goes, "Yeah, well, it's better it's in here than out there," and that's a good point. But yeah, this has been a fantastic book. No pun intended. There's really this almost was my pick of the week, but when you see the pick of the week, it becomes pretty obvious.
Your pick would have been my pick of the week if it was still in my stack.
That's what you get when you have a lot of books.
Well, that's fair.
Anyway, Fantastic Four, great stuff, and I really do love these red costumes. I don't know why.
Yeah, I like it too. It works.
I just never would have thought Fantastic Four in black and red. That's not how it works. But
it's always blue and white. Yeah. But I like it. I do. It works for me.
You know, it's funny. The Fantastic Four, they've had a good number of costumes over the years. I actually like most of them. There's something about the simplicity of the design.
Yeah.
Most other heroes, sooner or later, they have a costume that sucks pretty bad.
Yeah.
But
Spider-Man's had at least 7.
Yeah. Well, when you got that many action figures, you got to have
right.
You're gonna have some crappy costumes.
That is
anyway,
true.
What's your top?
Well, that brings me to my top here, which is Southern Bastards, issue number 2 from Image Comics. This is a Jason Aaron book. In the last issue, our main character, Earl Tubb, comes home. He's got to settle his father's affairs. He hasn't been home in a long time. It's not a tale we haven't seen before. But he comes home, and of course, he kind of gets caught up in the middle of something with the guy running the town. He steps in the middle of something he shouldn't. Now he's trying to get out of here, but it looks like, all these kind of things from his past, having not been in town, are going to come back, and what people were doing. It doesn't look too much like the Billy Jack kind of thing, that I thought it was going to be, with just a bunch of ruffians in town. At least not in the second issue here, but we shall see where it goes. I really liked it. Like I said, it was the first issue felt like movies I'd seen before.
Yeah.
But I really liked how Jason Aaron did it. He's a really fantastic writer. I just enjoyed his characters' dialogue and their interactions with each other. Just some really cool stuff. I liked that book.
He's good. Very good. My top pick was an easy one. As soon as I saw that this was coming out, it was obvious. It's Thanos Annual #1.
Right.
It's Jim Starlin writing Thanos again. It's Ron Lim drawing Thanos again. I mean, these are the guys who brought Thanos back from the grave, who put him back on the map in the Infinity Gauntlet. And in the front we've got Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet. It actually looks like it takes place during that time.
Yeah, well, there's 3 different covers.
Oh, okay. I didn't
So there's that one that's that era, and so I don't know what the story's going to be, but...
Yeah, I have no idea either, but it looks like we got Thanos, and we got Thanos versus Thanos. We got Thanos versus Mephisto, and Thanos versus Warlock. Looks like it might be a little biography, a little trip
Thanos
down.
versus...
Got Thanos with a beer belly and a big head. I don't know. But it's Thanos. That Thanos alone would be worth it. Thanos done by Jim Starlin, even more worth it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so count me in. I have no idea. The mystery and wonder continue in Thanos, the Infinity Revelation, on sale this August. So it's a prelude to yet another Infinity
and is that
something.
Starlin? Because I know Starlin was trying to do something.
He's doing that
and
Infinity
for a while,
Revelation.
they put him on hold on the Thanos stuff.
Right.
And then I heard he was trying to do something with Adam Warlock.
Yeah.
And was told, he's on hold.
Right. I wonder why.
So, yeah.
But yeah, that's all it is. Starlin, Thanos, count me in.
Agreed. And I would like to also mention this week we've got the Drumheller Volume 1 trade paperback is out. It's a Riley book. But yeah, lots of great stuff. I mean, between
week.
Thanos and, all these Image titles that are out, and, a lot of great Marvel stuff and some great DC stuff in that. Yeah. Their Batman Eternal. Who knew a weekly Batman book could hook you?
I know. I don't really like weekly or Batman that much, but...
So be sure to check out your local brick and mortar store, and that is your Week in Geek.